Hello and welcome to I Can't Believe It's Not the Mouse, the podcast all about animation not made by the mouse. I'm your host, Octaviano, and yes, if you just noticed, I did change up the intro. I'm going to be honest, you're going to hear the old intro in a few upcoming episodes. I recorded a lot, well, not a lot, but a few episodes in advance. Some of them as far back as the summer before I went into hiatus. These were done pretty much, they were stuff that I was working on, and when I just got too busy, they all kind of collapsed, and, well, they're going to be released, don't worry about that. But my general thing is that if you were expecting them to be all up to date, no. I have to release a few episodes that have already been made as a little buffer. That way I can release these on a pretty normal basis. This is mainly to help me out. It's for my well-being because the way I was doing the show has been kind of stressing me out. And not to say that this is going to completely fix everything, but I just hope that in giving it a few, a bit of a buffer, like a 5 to 6 episode buffer between when I record something to when it eventually hits, it might make things easier for me. It might make it easier for me to rest, to relax, all that stuff. Of course, as always, if you can help me out on Patreon, by all means, consider helping me out that way. It'll be a great way to maybe loosen up some time from my work, so I can do this as a more regular thing. But yeah, in any case, this is what I'm doing before the year is over. I will talk about the movies that are coming out next year that I am looking forward to animation wise. Yes, it's not an episode focused on any specific movie. It's just going to be episodes focused on multiple movies. 2022 was a pretty good year for animation. We had Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. We had Turning Red. Strange World, not the greatest thing, but it was actually pretty fun Disney movie. And so was Lightyear. So, what does 2023 hold for us?
Before we get this video started, I just want to say thank you for coming on, and if you enjoyed this video, like it, comment below for whatever reason you have, whether it's a question or you just want to give a shout out or just whatever. And if you've been watching a few of my videos, why haven't you subscribed yet? I mean, I'm sure some of you already have, but if you haven't, please consider subscribing. It won't hurt. It will get you more of my content. And if you really want to see some more stuff, ring that bell. Again, thank you for coming on, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Well, of course, there's the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It looks good. Chris Pratt is probably the weak link. And look, just to be clear, I don't have an issue with Chris Pratt doing the voice for Mario. I think he's a good choice. I wish he would have done a bit more of an accent, and sometimes you can hear a bit of an accent, but the problem is that the energy is not there, which is weird because he's done animation before. Like, he's done the Lego Movie, he's done Onward, and Lego Movie 2, he was so good in it that he had 2 character roles. You knew it was him, but because of the way he was delivering the lines from one character to another, you eventually got so engrossed into it that you kind of forgot that it was the same character until they pointed out that, hey, it's the same actor voicing these 2 characters. So I don't think it's an issue with him. I know some people want that Charles Martinet voice, and look, I love Charles Martinet, but realistically speaking, it's not a voice that you can actually hear for a narrative feature. And I'm not saying that it would get annoying. It wouldn't. It's just that when you want it to deliver like the more emotional moments, I don't think it could really work that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, when it comes to videos where he's done it in longer bursts, you can tell that there's kind of a struggle in there where he's kind of adding in random phrases. And again, not a knock against the guy. His voice works, but we've heard Mario have different voices before Charles Martinet. Captain Lou Albano was a voice of Mario at one point. I don't think it's the problem with Chris Pratt. I don't think it's a problem that Chris Pratt doesn't do the high-pitched voice. I just think it's a lack of energy. But to be fair, some clips do have some of the energy, so Hopefully, it's just a matter of the marketing, not the actual thing. I don't know. Honestly, beyond that, Jack Black sounds great. Charlie Day sounds great. Anya Taylor-Joy is okay. Not great, but then again, Peach, I don't think has ever had all that great of a voice actress. And again, not a knock against anyone who's ever voiced her. It's just that it's a similar thing as Mario, where it's like all the voices that have been done for her don't really work for a narrative feature. I'm not saying that Anya Taylor-Joy was necessarily the best choice for it, but at the same time, what she's doing is perfectly fine, and I got nothing against that. Guys, we got to get over this whole celebrity voiceover hate. There are other issues with the voice acting when it comes to these things. The person being famous is not exactly the issue. We've heard, celebrities that do good voice work. We've had ones that do bad voice work. We've even had voice actors who do bad voice work every now and then. It all depends on the role. It all depends on the direction. It depends on multiple factors. So let's get over that. Another animated movie feature we're getting from Illumination next year, Migration. Migration is being done by the guy who did Ernest and Celestine. Really good animated movie if you've never seen it. It's a nice little foreign feature. Check it out. That on its own is enough to get me excited for Illumination next year. Both Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is being directed by the Teen Titans Go guys, so that's another mark for that. And then Migration being done by a guy who has, done a pretty good animated movie. So I'm looking forward to that. Disney-wise, we got Wish. This is going to be their big, not their 100th feature, but their 100th anniversary feature, as in the Walt Disney Studios is now 100 years old. This movie is the movie they're releasing in honor of that. It's their 62nd animated feature from the animation studio, but that's all it is. And from my understanding, it seems to be using the animation stuff from like Feast and Paperman. So curious to see how that works long form. I'm glad they're finally doing something with that. Story-wise, there's not much to it other than it's supposed to be about the wishing star that Disney famously uses. Don't know if it'll work, but you know what? Disney normally has a pretty good track record, even if for the last few years they've had they've been a bit messier with their movies, like with Ralph Breaks the Internet, Frozen 2, and Raya. I thought those needed more time to work with. Strange World and Encanto, even if I had my issues with either one, I think were both really fun movies, so I don't really say much on those. Pixar, they have Elemental. I know some people are mocking it. They're acting as if this is like, a stereotypical Pixar parody instead of an actual Pixar kind of plot. Honestly, I'd argue that this looks fine. I mean, apparently it's based on Peter Sohn's experiences growing up in a city with like all these different cultures and whatnot. Pretty much the American experience, if we're being honest. And yeah, hearing that sounds interesting. The fact that it's people that are like, fire, water, grass, whatever. Yeah, I get how that sounds pretty generic, but you know what? Pixar has a really good track record. If they want to make a romance about a fire girl and a water boy and see how that clashes, I'm more than for it. We're getting a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie for theaters called Mutant Mayhem. It's got producer wise, I know Seth Rogen is on board. I think it's the entire production. Well, not the entire production team, but like the producers behind like The Boys, Invincible and whatnot. So, I'd look forward to that. I mean, I know some people might not be too excited by that, but you know what? Ninja Turtles has usually been pretty consistent when it comes to their stuff. A lot of their weaker features and shows are still pretty good. I never saw Rise of the Ninja Turtles, and when I saw the movie that they made for that on Netflix, I thought it was really good. So, you know what? I'm willing to give another one a full-on chance. And plus, I was even a big fan of that 2007 or 2006 CG Ninja Turtle movie. So, by all means, bring it on. We're getting another SpongeBob movie, but I think this one's just a streaming one. I'm not entirely sure. Not sure if it'll be great. I mean, I know the last SpongeBob movie was not too great, but you know what? You never know. So I'm willing to look into that. We're getting a sequel to Chicken Run. Yes, the movie from decades ago. My only real issue with it is that they're replacing everyone apparently, which is weird. Like, I get Mel Gibson, why you would replace him, but all the other actors I don't think should be replaced. From my understanding, it's because of an age thing. I don't know. I think that sounds weird. But you know what? Aardman is usually pretty good, so I still have hopes for it. My only real issue is that it's going to Netflix, so who knows if that actually works out well, because Netflix, well, I can praise their animation. The problem is that they never really promote the stuff well enough to really get the attention that a lot of these movies deserve, so that kind of sucks. I think we're getting fixed. This is again the Tartakovsky movie from Sony. It's an R-rated movie about a dog who basically is about to get neutered, so he's trying to celebrate like his final hours. Before that, I almost saw the movie. I actually got invited to a test screening, but I got COVID the weekend it happened, so unfortunately could not see it. Disappointed, but you know what? I'm more than willing to see what they do with that. I mean, again, Tartakovsky is an animation legend for a reason. So if that is coming out 2023, going for it, I mean, I'm pretty sure it should be, because it's got test screenings now. So, it'd be weird to see a delay, but who knows? You never know. Along with that, Sony is also releasing Into the Spider-Verse 2, now known as Across the Spider-Verse, which is, of course, the sequel to the animated Spider-Man movie. And look, that movie, amazing. So there's really nothing I can say here that would change your minds. If you're into it, you're definitely going to watch it. I want to watch it. I want to see all the different Spider-Man. I love that even though it's a multiverse story, which I'm kind of getting tired of just because we've had so many of them, it still knows how to deliver the emotion, because there was a recent trailer as of this recording where you see the mother talking to Miles, and it's just like, okay, yeah, this is going to work. This is going to be great. But yeah, that's definitely something. It looks like we're going to have some really good animated movies next year. There's also Nimona. I don't know much about Nimona other than it's apparently based on a comic. There's apparently a lot of good representation for the LGBT community, so that's good to hear. This was a movie that was canceled by Disney because Blue Sky Studios was doing it, and Blue Sky got shut down. Shame. But thankfully, the movie has been allowed to be finished elsewhere, so hopefully it's good. Hopefully it comes out as good as they were hoping it would be. I don't know too much, so I can't really say much, but, I'm willing to see it just based on that backstory, because I am fascinated by, stuff like canceled movies and seeing movies that almost got canceled, get their due. Yeah, generally speaking, it just sounds like a really good year for animation. In any case, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to towards 2023. If you think I missed something, just keep in mind that this is just going off of what I know is coming out. There's other stuff that I may not have heard of that is going to be really good, but I just haven't heard of it, so how can I even say I'm looking forward to it? But I'm sure there's other good stuff that's coming out. Thank you for listening. I will be coming back soon. I don't have an exact date, but I am coming back soon. I do apologize for the long hiatus. It lasted longer than I expected, but, I am planning to come back. You might notice some of the videos will have fluctuating looks to them, just because, again, some of these are from back in the summer, and that's not because I didn't want to release them. It's just that I'm like, okay, they weren't finished at the time, or by the point where I reached started working on them again, I felt like, okay, let me do them all together, that way I can give myself some time before I have to do another episode, standard stuff. In any case, again, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again next time. Thank you for coming on today. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, where you'll see video versions of these podcasts. And if you just want to listen to them, there's always the option of just following the podcasts on their various sites, whether it's Spotify, Podbean, or Apple Podcasts. Whatever you choose, I hope you continue enjoying these. And if you want to support me even further than that, there's always the option of Patreon. With Patreon, even just $1 will get your name on the video versions of this and on other videos that I may do outside of these podcasts. A few dollars more gets you some behind the scenes info, and as this continues to grow, you'll find that there's more perks to it. So I hope you consider supporting me through Patreon as well. And in any case, again, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.